Hello, everybody. Seems like... Oh, yeah. You're going to give me the clap. Good. It only seems like 2 years since we were last here doing this. So apologies for my absence last year. So I was going to think of just kicking off with a little bit of what's coming up, what Mantic have got planned, and then we'll go into any questions and answers that anyone has, and we'll try and answer them as best you can. So, firstly, thank you all for coming. It's really lovely to kind of cut away from the crowd and come and spend an evening with the fans of Mantic. You know, you're the reason we're here, and it means a lot to us. So, thank you very much. I'd like to say, before I forget, thank you to all the Pathfinders. I'm sure we'll give them a big round of applause. They're working all day, running tournaments, events in the stand, and then all evening they're here. And in exchange, we give them a couple of slices of pizza and hearty handshake and lots of sarcasm. So they love the pain. Okay, probably some of you may have been expecting a Hornet this evening. It's a big flying thing. Of course, I'm not going to throw anyone under a bus. But China being what it is and delivery, we've got all your names and addresses. There's two things you can do. If you want to come by the stand tomorrow, you've got a $40 credit. So if you're thinking of that $100 army deal, you can now get it for $60. And we'll just strike it off. You can take some toys home with you. If not, we will post you out in the next week or so a Hornet. The good news was we did ship them on Tuesday. The bad news was Trump's got your customs working well.
They got sent back to
China. Got sent all the way back again. So they're like, what the hell? Actually, didn't get out of China. The Chinese decided they didn't like it. It seemed an unfeasibly small number to be sending, so they sent it back. So in their genius, they're sending it again. So the other alternative is you can go to Pat's house on Tuesday next week. And he's going to have 80 Hornets there for anyone else. Yeah. Should address
0 Michigan Avenue.
What was it, 2006? So yeah, apologies for that. But yeah, if you want to come and get something else, we knew some of you didn't want that anyway, come to the stand. You've got a $40 credit to take away with you, or we'll post the Hornet out to you. You'll be the first people getting them in the next 2 weeks. Good, so that's the admin out of the way. Good. What do you want to talk about first? Kings of War, then. We'll do Kings of War. So, the first thing is this year we've already released the 2018 Clash of Kings book, which has already outsold the 2017 Clash of Kings book. People are kind of getting used to the 1 year update. What was great about it, it had the outcome of last year's Eye of the Abyss campaign, which was where we hosted our first ever global campaign for Kings of War. Actually, it was hugely successful. Not only did we have thousands of games, since then, the uptake of the game has been marked, particularly in the US. It had kind of plateaued out after the big upswing in the middle of 2016. Clearly, that activity and getting people building their armies again and digging them out and getting those games happening has re-galvanized the kind of community. So that's great to see. So we concluded the Eye of the Abyss campaign, which resulted in a section of the Abyss getting flooded by nature because the filthy evil Abyss lost. Ooh, down with the Abyss. So it sounds like there is retribution to be had. So yeah, we've got some plans for Kings of War. But the next step, in the middle of this summer, we're going to be releasing a whole heap of big monsters. Some of the bigger kits that we've been wanting to get round to. The Steel Behemoth was very successful for us. It was great as a kit. And then in Clash of Kings, we realised a little underpowered, and we chucked it out there, and it's been very popular since. It's giving our resin manager heart attacks, which amuses me no end. So we'll be getting more of those. And what's coming out in June?
We've got the Slasher.
Yeah. Which is going to have a couple of weapon options with howders on the back of it, firing crossbows, stuff like that.
couple of the
Genius. So that's going to keep us going through summer, where we're going to be focusing back again on Kings of War. And then really the next big focus for Kings of War is this game here. There's a couple of rule books kicking around. The hard thing that anybody finds is when you go up to someone who says, I'm playing this fantastic game, it's really good, it's very quick, you can play in 2 hours, I'm interested, that sounds good. You're just going to paint 150 figures, maybe 200, and you can start playing, no problem. And people say, yeah, what now? So the difficulty with Kings of War is, even though you can multi-base and it's much quicker, it's getting to that point where you're able to field an army. So Vanguard is going to give us an opportunity to do two big things. One, there's a lot of people that kind of want to play, but they need a stepping on point. And Vanguard is that. It's a skirmish game. We've got the models up here. If you want to see them in their glory, they're on the stand downstairs. But we're going into the Basileans, which is a big part of the Kings of War narrative. The good guys that are so good they're nearly bad again. We've got the Abyssals that are getting another focus because they're a central part of the story. And we're releasing two new armies, the first of which is the Night Stalkers, which are your evil dreams manifested on the battlefield. And those are over here. We've got an awful lot of fun with them. Brand new army, really exciting and pretty disgusting stuff, particularly the big giant brain, which you'll see shortly. And then the Northern Alliance. There we go, we've got some Northern Alliance fans. Go Northern Alliance. So, two new armies, two of them are getting plastics that are going to come out into the Kings of War, and a stepping on point for people that want to engage with the classic fantasy. For those of you that, I don't very often use my exec power, but when I see brand new sexy dwarfs, I do. So I stole this from the resin room. And that's an example where we're able to go back to some of our existing races with the quality that the sculptors are getting now and the resin that we're getting, and just revisiting. So you're putting some of the champions into your race, or you're putting together as a gang, and you're seeing these guys coming through as an elite force. The concept behind Vanguard was there's been an awful lot of fantasy skirmish games set in the ruined city in the north end of things that was hit by a meteor. I thought that had been kind of done a lot. So we specifically focused on tying it into the Kings of War as it existed, and rather than making a new story arc. If you're a general, and you're moving your large army into position, in a few days you're going to meet your enemy with his thousands of troops and cavalry on the other side of the battlefield. And you're going to want to make sure you mess up his supply lines. You're going to want to make sure your giant arrives at the battle rather than getting drunk in the brewery that he's found on the way there. You're going to want to stop the other guy setting his signals off to call his reinforcements up. So you turn to your most trusted captain and his band of brave brothers, and you send them and say, go over there and disrupt his supplies, stop him setting fire to his signal thing, whatever these are called, and don't let him light it, keep it unlit, and get the giant to the battlefield. And so the objectives have a very strong narrative. Find the supplies that are on the spine. And we've tried to visualize that narrative through the objective counters that will be on the game. So although that will be a 2-point objective counter, it's far more material than that. So if you're playing in a competitive way, you play that as a game, you paint your troops up, you play with your gang, and as your gang gets better, or as your warband gets better, it'll level up. And you can have a classic tournament that way. Much easier buy-in, classic fantasy, all with our own twist now, but relatively easy stepping on points. However, if you want to play on a Tuesday night 2 or 3 scenarios, and then on Sunday play a big game of Kings of War, you can actually play that whoever has the giant at the end of the giant scenario gets the giant in their Sunday game. If you disrupt his supplies, you get 50 more points to spend on war machines than he does. So there is an absolute explicit way of taking your skirmish game, your 1 hour skirmish games, and applying them to your mass battle games. And that the outcome of one of your games could directly affect the start of the other, which I think is kind of cool. So you can play both in and of itself, but it's also set in the wider narrative of Kings of War. And it's going to allow us to do whole heaps of very cool things for the existing Kings of War armies. So I'm specifically looking at kind of the larger humanoid or two-man weapon team style stuff. So we can trial stuff before putting them in future Clash of Kings into the main game. So the Ogre Palace Guard, which is an ogre that works for the Basileans. So he's a fully play-mailed up ogre figure that sits right in the centre. We can see how that could be a 3-man large unit in the future Basilean army list. So we're able to put cool, fun, sexy things right into the core of the game, but in a tried and tested way, and in a way that merits individual sculpts. So when we're finished, here's the Basileans, this is the Nightcrawlers, here's Stonehenge, and then you've got, I'll leave them over here, but these are your objective counters to give you your narrative bit. This is a dwarf. That's just the first of the new dwarf faction. I don't know why the first faction ended up being dwarf. It's just one of those lucky things, I think. It just happens. That's what it is. Any questions on Kings of War?
Foolishly, we can like to back the Kickstarter. What's the price point going to be for the base game for Vanguard?
I think about $79 or $89. That'll be two factions. There might be a board in it, that's the only thing, but we'll probably, just to make you kind of get out of the box and play. I don't know, that's the one debate about whether we have a board that people fold out to a straight 4x4, or we just leave them to throw a mat down and play from there. People love a bit of board these days. I'm not convinced. Yes, sir.
Who do I need talking about the Mammoth Guinea Strider?
Oh,
Mammoth Guinea Strider. Who do I need talking about?
I got Mammoth.
Yes.
Negan. Strider.
Yes. He needs it.
Needs Strider.
It's the rule of the game, so he can't be disordered.
You have siege breakers.
Mammoth Guinea Strider.
So we speak a language called English. I think you kind of have it, but you know. Yeah, there you go. That's it.
The Mammoth Guinea Strider.
That was spot on.
Yeah.
So how long until you guys do a Salamander Hero for the slasher that's coming out and turn it into a Fire Drake? Because it...
Great idea. Stuart, make a, what is it? A rider for the... Do that.
People put more Fire Drakes in their army than they do slashers, so there you go.
Right, we need a Fire Drake. More Fire Drakes. Note to self. Note to self. Right. Yeah, no, I think that stuff is having our own in-house resin is liberating.
Well, it looks really good, I think, for both, right? It would fit the sound.
Yeah, no, and you know, when you sculpted the big thing to reskin it, we did it with the Undead Worm. You know, we did one with the wings, one without. An Undead Worm without wings hadn't been done kind of by anybody, so we pulled that out. But we knew a lot of people running it with the wings because that's how they were fighting it. So you just get the sculptor when he's doing the work to design it both ways. And our resin, having our own resin in-house is changing things. I mean, what you're going to see in that room with Hellboy, he literally arrived at 9 o'clock from the 3D printer. By 4 o'clock, we've got him copied. We've got him into a master mold, and you know, he's here now. We're able to use it, which is great for sizing, and you know, we can put them into production, and the quality is perfect. If you couldn't get big kits in metal, they don't work. In plastic, sometimes it just isn't the volume. So all of that stuff is becoming very, very doable, and we're excited about it. Yeah, shirt in the black.
So I got about $375 in the Kickstarter, hoping that the Northern Alliance
army lists become fairly decent for Kings of War. Do we have any idea when perhaps a beta list may come out, or what the army special rules going to be? Anything really?
So when you focus on a game, you kind of have to. A lot of the Kings of War rules committee are on Vanguard at the moment, and it's hard when you kind of change scale because you essentially. Becomes with Vanguard very narrative, very individual figure. Your basic rank and file troopers are a major player in the game, and your heroes are the same as hordes and regiments. So I think that will be. I mean, there's 2 early rule books kicking around here today, and some of the cards are kicking around that you'll be using for your faction. So this will be going off to print mid-late summer, and then they're going to go. Oh, got another Alliance army to sort out. And, and their Nightcrawler's army. So I think they will be kicking around towards the end of the year for some beta testing and for some playing. We may well have them in Clash of Kings 2019, which this year we're going to launch in December. Because there's that hiatus where people start having tournaments in January and they're trapped between getting the rules early enough to do it. So the plan is that we put the next year's book out in December. And then Easy Army can pick up on it, have it from 1st of Jan to get going. So that's definitely rolling in.
Awesome. What was I had an idea for race-specific magic items.
Yep.
Do you think they like goblins would ever have their own items, ogres have their own items? Like 1 to 3 items, not the big or flashy. Just something that's specific to them.
Yeah, I mean, I think, as you would know, we want magic and magic items to add flavour to the game, not be dominant. We want it to be about soldiers and units and armies. But I think as the game is getting bigger and we're getting more players, each race can just get that bit more colour. And I definitely think, these card decks we've been doing have been really successful because it's just a great way of changing it out and adding to it each year. And so I think we're getting kind of braver on that front. And I wouldn't be at all surprised if we didn't probably do a heap of some of that in Vanguard, but it can be very specific, and then roll some of that out into Clash of Kings 2019.
So, you said Clash of Kings 2019. When do you have any idea when you're looking at perhaps 3rd edition?
Sure do.
Yes.
This t-shirt's 9 years old. Mantic's going to be 10 years old next year. 2019 is our 10-year anniversary. So I remember that. So still here, still swinging, and I think if we'd said a few years ago we were going to be able to fill 85 people in a room. It's just getting interesting. We've got some very big projects coming up, but we're also able to keep supporting the projects that we've got. The final thing that I just said on Kings of War, but it's moving into something else, is we've signed up a book license. And the first book is going to be coming out. When is it coming out, Vince? Okay. Do you want to tell everyone around it? So Vince runs Winged Hussar, and they're going to be putting our books out. Tell us about who you are, what you do, and how fantastic our books are going to be. There we go.
And I know each other a long time from another company, but I started Winged Hussar 4 years ago. We're now up to, I guess, about 40 different titles that we put out. We're down on the staff there. We do history, but we also do a lot of fiction that's tied to the game. And we're very excited about doing the Mantic line. We're going to do not only Kings of War, we're going to do Warpath, we're going to do Dreadball, and just about any other game they've got, we'll find something. At the moment, the first book that's coming out is called Working. It's coming out in early June, late May. It's going to be an anthology that we've got mostly put together. We've also got 2 other Kings of War books scheduled and a Dreadball book scheduled, and 2 Warpath, my alter ego 2 Warpath novels. Now, the first of the novels, full novels, are coming out in January, and we'll have a regular schedule to that. Probably every 2 months or so, we'll have something. As I said, the first one is an anthology that we've already done. We've got some authors signed up to do some novels. At some point, we will solicit an anthology of short stories from whoever wants to submit, but please don't inundate the website now. I'll let you know what it is, and we'll give you a wide window to do what the submission guidelines are. If you have any questions, I don't want to take away from this. Come down and see us in the stand tomorrow. We'll be happy to answer any questions. Or if you catch me later, or Brandon later, who's my editor, we'll answer any questions you have.
Thanks, Vince.
Just in case, there will also be ebooks for these. And our distribution is such that it'll be available in the US, UK, Australia, Canada, and just about anywhere.
Okay. Great, thank you. So we've got books coming. We're actually partnered with a proper book company that has to sell books, and you'll be able to pick them up from those guys. So sign on the newsletter, you'll find out about it. We'll give you all posted. Obviously, Dreadball's relaunching. We're here at the event. We had 12 people yesterday, 14 people yesterday. A wonderful tournament, and we've got a beautiful website built for it. If you've not seen it, dreadball.com. Not only does it have a host for where all the videos are, tutorials, how to play, how to paint, it also has our own ranking site. Do you want to talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, sure. So we decided we were going to do it back end of last year. We had limited resources, but we had a guy that was going to do it. So he started doing it just before Christmas in December. His name's Kieran, so a big shout out to him. He's been amazing. So what we've done is we've set up a full community website, everything from beginners, so they can learn how to play, then for the more veterans, like the guys in the middle of the table here, so they can submit tactics, and a few articles for us as well. Then we've got Kieran's put together a sheet for TOs to use, so they can submit all their results, and then Jeff can still be top of the table again. Probably for all of 2018, 2019, on and on. But it's also a good community thing. So you can do within the website, you can chat to each other, arrange games. We can get your local store signed up, so they can register as a store that plays Dreadball, and then they can advertise their tournaments on there. There's a map, so you can see locality, and then TOs can register as well, and they get extra access to bits and pieces as well. So yeah, it's a full one-stop shop for everything that you need. I'm very proud of it. We did it in 3 months. Obviously we're still testing little bits and pieces, but in the main it's a fantastic bit of kit. So please go to dreadball.com, register for it, have a look around, and enjoy it.
And the great thing is we built in a way we're going to be able to reskin it. So Deadzone, which has been very popular and is growing rapidly, and is this summer's campaign, by the way. It's going to be again, an easy stepping on point. Forge files in space, veer-myn in space, the Enforcers, the GCPS, the vehicles, including the Hornet, will be available. So we're going to be probably having reskin ready for then, and then going forward, you can start seeing: are you the best player in your town, your city, your country, or anywhere in the galaxy? So yeah, we're just, we've been meaning to get into that internet thingy mob for years. We're getting there now. Deadball's the first of what we hope is going to be many forays into that space. And joining up our community. Star Saga launched at the end of last year. The second wave of that is going to be shipping in 2 to 3 months. And then some more are going to be hitting retail shelves. And watch out for Nameless, they're going to blow your mind. They are unbelievably sexy. If anyone was clever enough to back it, you're going to be sexy. Tentacles are sexy. Different taste.
Sexy as a tank.
Sexy as a tank. Each to their own.
Another bit on Star Saga is going to have the hero and the mission creator as well. So that's out in the summer. For those who do about the Kickstarter. So creating your own missions, creating your own heroes, stuff.
Yeah, good. Any questions on anything sci-fi?
Yeah, so a lot of people got a long time ago the Bursters, the Murder Birds, and then there's even some, Tangles floating around. The Bursters look really good. I mean, and it's been a long time. I thought maybe they'd be released by now. What's going on?
So we have about 150 codes from Kickstarters that we have not yet released. And this is because the retail cannot cope with the amount of releases we and every other company have. And with something like Warpath, where we're still just finishing off the end of the tanks, we had the kind of launch of the game with the Forge Files, the Enforcers last year, we had the Third Army is building, but we want to kind of get it to a certain critical mass, that it is a no-risk item for stores to stock, and then we can put in a complete range. So it's one of those difficult things. If we put it up on our website, then the retailers say, "Oh my God, everyone's put it on your website, I don't want it." If we push it out, they just say, "Well, I can't cope with all of that. What do you want me to do about it?" And then we put it on Kickstarter and say, "God damn, you do it on Kickstarter, it's ruining my business." So you can see it's kind of difficult for us. So what we try and do is we say, "Look, we do it on Kickstarter, you will be getting this early. Okay, you might get a little bit late, but on the whole, you'll be getting some of it up to 1, 2, 3 years early." We hold it, we say, "Look, you're getting to run ahead, we'll get those molds made." But then we've got to wait until there's a point. So this summer, we're going to be doing Deadzone, but we're focusing back in on Warpath at that time. All the tanks are out. It's a nice summertime, so the stories, although it's going to be based around a Deadzone, it will be sparking off that there will be bigger battles, firefight type battles and Warpath type battles. So it's a good time for us to release some more of those codes. But it is also just a challenge for us to put all that stuff out, because it puts the pressure on the retail chain. So we either may do a weekend where we say, "Listen, everything that was in the Kickstarter is now available to buy online for the next 2 or 3 weeks. We'll run the molds. If you're waiting for those specific codes, come in and get them." Because that way we could run the molds 5, 6, 7 times and put them back into it.
You're saying that you think possibly by this summer those specific models I mentioned?
I mean, thank you for raising it. For us, we have the mold made. I mean, we've delivered the Murder Birds, we've got it all done there. So it could well be a case that we pop them up and run them for a big long weekend in the consumer period, so that people that are waiting to pick things up can jump on. And if that works, it's something we can do, intermittently.
We'll let you know other time whatever's going on.
The newsletters will do, but it's one of the challenges we have. It's we can't put so much out through retail that it breaks them. But similarly, if we kind of release it, it's released. So then when you come to say it's a trade, it's on the website. So we understand it's a frustration. Is that all things Warpath? Cool. So yeah, it's growing. We had how many people? Well, come to the stand or catch us afterwards.
Okay, so with Star Saga, I was wondering if you could kind of give us an idea of how the mission builder, like what kind of parameters the mission builder is going to set, and what kind of parameters building your own hero is going to set. Like, will there be a list of feats you choose from? Will there be, like, you get so many points to build stats? How did you guys do that? Is that, you have...
Let's do it. That's the studio guy.
Ping me an email and we'll get you answer that back. To be honest, they've written that, and my head's not in that space right now. Mine's somewhere more. Someone's a bit more hellish than that right now. Is what I'm thinking about. So I don't have that detail for you.
I have one more.
Go on.
For Kings of War, they get like yearly updates with, maybe adding new models to the list. Can we expect some of that maybe in sci-fi like Deadzone? Like
so this summer campaign book, do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Expect
Me and Shane. Well, we had the Shane and I are on the rules committee, and we've been working on the new book. So, like Kings of War, we're going to do an update every year. So, the rules committee, we're committed to making Deadzone better. Well, we can only speak for Deadzone. So this summer, with the book, it's not a secret, but you're going to have the Nameless and the Maison Corporation in it, which is basically taking Star Saga and putting it into Deadzone. So you'll have the rules, you'll have all the updated FAQs, all the Nexus Psi, the Infestation, everything is going to be in one place, one book, so you don't have to carry around the 4 books. And that's, although the releases are nice, when you put out Infestation, when you put out Nexus Psi, and there's a few new models, the Bursters, the Murder Birds, this is going to be summer campaign, new rules, updated rules, FAQ, everything. And then from there, when that comes out, we'll start working on the one for next year. So every summer, I can't wait because New York is going to kick everybody's behind.
Yeah, right.
So, and there you go. But that's it. So following that model, Deadzone, 2018 is the year of Deadzone. That's what we keep saying. And then when 19 hits, we'll say the same thing.
And I think the Deadzone, they're doing the rules pretty big. We'll put some Warpath and Firefly stuff in there. It will be a sci-fi book. So
characters from Warpath will have elite lists in the new book. So basically everything you do in Warpath will transfer to Deadzone. Deadzone can transfer to Warpath, and that's the greatest thing. That's the thing we love.
Yeah, your models are the same.
I don't know if it was not a lucid, but a fever dream, but I heard a rumor that Assyrians were going to get a flyer.
Yeah. It's not enough like a dream. It's in tooling. It's going to arrive in our factory in the next few weeks. Yeah, it's nearly finished. It looks beautiful. You've not seen it? There's some pictures of it. We should have brought it, I guess. Yeah, it looks great. And we're remaking the flying base. It actually takes the stand in its exhaust, so it kind of hovers. It's not on a vertical base like most flyers are. The hip thing encrypts it. It slips in the back like that. So it's actually this kind of height. Yeah, and it's floating. It's really cool. And that was the final piece. So there is the Asterian, the Hornet, and that's the last one, isn't it? Yeah. So then in every race, I always said with the sci-fi game, if it doesn't have a vehicle, it's not really a sci-fi army. And so when we did the Kickstarter, every single army got a flag. And then Play got some conversions off that, but it's not a sci-fi game without vehicles. So, all the forces that we did not only got basic shoot, we've got vehicles. And because we've got our resin, we can now do weapon options, weapon variants for them. We can do the Hornet flying in with a half track underneath it. And I think that whole hobby angle that people want to take with the airbrush and really start getting to town, all of that can come to the fore. You can get conversions out of your tanks, different weapon options, and there's a whole heap of stuff that we can do. So I think there can be a lot of fun there. And I know, particularly in the US, bows and arrows are all well and good, but if you can put a great big cannon on it with a whole load of explosions, it's going to sell a hell of a lot better. So, we do believe that the cleanliness of the game, the speed of the game, both Deadzone, Firefight, and Warpath, over time will build a very, very cult following. Because like Kings of War, it's clean, it plays in 2 hours from beginning to end. You absolutely interact with the terrain. You go into the buildings. It's a far more realistic, based on modern warfare style of game. So I think when people start picking it up and it starts to grow, it could go crazy. All right, here we go again. I'm going to go with 2 more things to talk about. Go on, do questions we can.
Since tomorrow's my birthday, as a gift, can you tell us something about Deadzone nobody has heard about at all? Something new.
Just told you there's 2 new armies coming.
I won't further ahead.
That's old news now.
I won't
That's
further
fake
ahead.
news.
I think we've been really honest, to be honest. I think we've been straight up and actually told you everything.
There's anything else to say?
Is there anything else to say?
Shino? There's your birthday gift.
Okay. You're saying Maison Corporation is different than GCPS?
Yeah, don't worry about it.
We'll learn all about it in the book.
Let's go there. So I know you got a lot of balls in the air, but what about Dungeon Saga? Is there any support for that in the maybe far future, 2019?
before that. Yeah, that's the thing I was debating all day whether I said about. But I'll say it at Gen Con.
Yes.
Yeah. Dungeon Saga is bubbling back up to the top of my. I've got a great idea. The only reason I don't want to say it is I don't want anyone else to do it. But I've always loved Dungeon Saga. It's always been close to my heart. I've got some properly bonkers ideas that I'd love to do, and I think will be very successful. Like, will be a huge recruit. It's gonna be how did you know about the roller skates? Deadzone's getting roller skates.
There you go.
That's a fact.
Oh.
In roller skates.
Yes.
I know.
So yeah, I like Dungeon Saga.
Right answer.
Walking Dead. We are waiting for an approval to do the next thing, but as long as that gets a yes, one of the things we've got in the no camera room is a Walking Dead miniatures game, board game, cooperative. So when we're not being recorded, I'll tell you about it now because it's not approved yet. Yeah, so I can work and batch you through. At the same time, we're going to put a skirmish book out. So what we've done so far is kind of All-Out War was a basic game, but we took you through the narrative of the graphic novels. They kind of come to an end with Wave 5. Wave 5 is the Hunters. And this is when they've left pre-Alexandria post-prison. So they've had the fire of the governor, they're looking for somewhere to live. So Hunters, Wave 5. Because after that point, it's kind of fighting after fighting after fighting after fighting. You're in that. The walkers are less relevant. It's far more than the threat is posed by the other faction. So we're going to do a mass battle book, kind of a general's compendium, where we're going to theme the factions around captains. It's going to go competitive. It's going to get a website. We'll be beta testing that at the end of summer. So what it'll allow you to do is if you want to recreate the story of the comics, run through the expansions. Throughout that process, you'll end up with a cast. From that, you can start picking your faction and play the way you want to go. Negan will run his team through fear. Michonne will be a kind of close assault specialist. Rick will be an all-round general strategist. You're probably going to lose the threat tracker. That won't be relevant. And the event deck will simply be about where the undead are, the walkers are spawning and how they're interacting. But you will be using those as a way of exerting threat on your opponent. So it's going to be your army, their army, and the guys in the middle that you'll be, as you know, on that point shooting to move them where you want to get to. Probably about 6 to 8 figures. Probably not on a 20 by 20, probably 40 by 20. But we'll be playing with all that stuff and that book will be coming out. And then a board game, which will open the game up to all those people that are intimidated by skirmish games. They don't like measuring, they like to count. So, as I said, when we're in there, I'll tell you the cool things about that game, but it's very exciting and that's been worked on. So, should be maybe November. Any questions? Anything Walking Deadish? Good. See, we get a good presentation. All the questions are answered during the presentation. Terrain Crate's hitting in May. Did anyone back Terrain Crate? You're going to be very, very glad you did. It looks absolutely beautiful. It's down on the stand. When you first start it, you think, I can use this for my D&D. When you actually get your hands on it, you think, I'm going to stick this everywhere. I've just got the biggest bits box I've ever seen. So it's great for bases, it's great for multi-base, Kings of War, there's woods, there's logs, there's barrels, there's all manner of stuff that will be very useful. So watch out for that. Then I've done Deadzone Service. The only thing I have left to talk about is, jolly exciting, drum roll please. In September of this year, on the dates of roughly 28th, 29th and 30th of September, Mantic is coming to the USA. We are going to be... The first hosted by Manticon. The first hosted by us. I think John Carter's done a few of them before. Matt Carter's done a few of them before. But this is the first genuine one. So we're based around a big Kings of War tournament. We're going to have the Kings of War tournament. on Saturday and Sunday. But we're going to kind of take the place over from Friday afternoon. We're going to, like we did here, have some events on the Friday, some Dreadball, Deadzone tournament, whatever we want to do. Hang around. We're going to have a Mantic night there. It's going to be Mantic night on the Saturday night. And then tournaments throughout. We'll be there hosting, playing, gaming, having fun. Winner of the Kings of War tournament will be recognised as the best Kings of War player in the United States of America. Okay. We'll call him that he's won the World Series, but he will have to then go and fight someone from Europe. And we are going to fly the winner the following year over to the UK to play the European winner at Clash of Kings 2019. And we'll be looking at doing the same to get those players over to the US. So, yeah, we're going to try and get...
Yeah. It's got to stay for an entire year, though. You just start swimming.
You get the one-way ticket.
One way if you win. If you win when you're over there, we fly you back. Exactly.
You get caught customs.
So yeah, we've done it. We've done it 6 months away from Adepticon, so you're kind of not getting con fatigue. It's it's late September, so it's a couple of months after Gen Con as well, so you can recover from that if you're doing that one. It'll be quite a different kind of event. It's going to be very relaxed. There'll be no other traders there. It's not intended to turn into a 20,000 people event next year, maybe the year after, but not before that. Based around gaming, hanging around, drinking some beers, playing games. It's going to be quite a relaxed event. But I'd love to see you all there. So it is going to be at
Crown Plaza in Rosemont, right on River Road. So close to the Blue Line, close to the airport, close to the outlet malls. If you want to bring your significant other.
So, got an airport shuttle, so people can fly in. We're looking for this to be as convenient as possible to as much of the US as possible. I suppose a few Canadians if we have to, but I mean only just. So it's set up for that. And this area, Chicago, running down to Indy, because we've been coming to those two shows for a long time, is our strongest community in the US. It's stronger than the West or the East Coast. We're really hoping we can start building and then building out all the exciting things we've got going on. So we hope to see you there.
We'll start talking about it properly on through Rob and the internet and then 2 weeks ago. So.
Yeah, in those 2 weeks. We just wanted to announce it here so that all of you people know about it and start spreading the word. And the idea of really getting some intercontinental rivalry going. The bigger the other systems are, the more we'll be able to help out with that. We're just hoping that the Kings will come in straight up, 80 to 100 people, which would be awesome. Let's get there, that'll be good too. So, we'll discuss. Good. I think that is about done, and we'll do questions, and then we'll go into the secret room.
Do you have any information about that new Kickstarter?
Kickstarter, new game?
Don't know what you're talking about.
I've been seeing tweets.
Yeah, Hellboy's coming. In case you missed it.
How big's Deadzone got to get before you'll do the same thing that you're going to do for Kings of War?
50 plus?
50 plus in a tournament at the Mantic.
And if you get 50, we're then going to go and find 50 that play it over in Europe. But I honestly think the big opportunity to see where Deadzone kicks is this summer. We're going to have the website, we're going to have a big focus on Warpath of the Universe, everything that it is. It's so easy to get into and fighting one of those gangs, building one of those war bands is relatively straightforward. So, yeah, it needs to be something like that because what we do is we'll take a little contribution from each ticket and throw it towards flight costs. Okay. So,
are you planning for demos and stuff though for some of the other games, right?
Oh yeah, I mean, we're taking over a room nearly the size of what's that one next door? Utopia, the whole lot of it. So we've got a massive square footage. We've got the hotel all to ourselves. we're going to be running. Yeah, we're going to be running Dreadball, Deadzone demos, Walking Dead demos. We'll be walking. As many people want to come to the Walking Dead event, we'll host it, and we'll have that big mass battle from Kings of War there. Yeah, it's going to be great fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. We'll have some random games. Okay, so yeah, the final thing to finish on is Hellboy's coming. We've got a license for Hellboy. We're very, very, very excited. Yeah, if I was going to recommend you jump on a Kickstarter, don't miss this one. The box is going to come as a beautiful, very fun box. Some of the things that's making it exciting, it's of a style, it's a board game, kind of in the dungeon saga, where you're achieving missions and fighting minions. But the big difference is, it's got an investigation phase, where you're actually looking for artifacts and equipment. The more of those you find, the more likely you are to defeat the boss at the end of the level. However, it takes time to find those, and the slower you are, the more likely the boss is to turn up and beat your head in before you're ready for it. So you're going to have a tension between rushing through the dungeon, getting to the end boss before he gets super tough, and neither are you, or finding enough equipment that you're able to deal with him, but not so much that you get knocked out and then wake up and suddenly the baddie's there. We've got some very beautiful sculpts, which we can show some to you next door. And I think that's going to start running late April. Some of the fun parts, you're going to kind of get a mission pack. You will not know what monster you're fighting at the end of the level until you meet it. It's going to be a reveal as you go. It's a fully co-op game. As you go into the rooms, you'll find random things, and then we'll run you through some scenarios that are all set up for you, and then you can use that depth to generate your own missions randomly from there on with setups, so you can just put the stuff down in a random fashion. So those of you who want to know more and see more on those two projects, they're next door. So I'm going to do No, it's co-op. So you're all playing together against the minions, which in the first couple of levels are going to be the giant frogs, hectate, and Nazis. With all that you expect from them. So we're roughly running through the graphic novels. We're going to be doing graphic novel 1 and 2, 3, 4 in the Kickstarter, and then Hellboy in Mexico might be making appearances depending on how big it goes. Plus some of the other fun stuff will be coming out. We'll have a big deck of Doom with random monsters. So once you've played it through, you can start adding new monsters into your deck of Doom, which will be included in the Kickstarter. We intend it to be like the Walking Dead one, where you get a big box with a whole lot laid out, really nicely done, big piles of cards, so you're going to get a full experience when you jump in there. Let's play some games, shall we? All right. Thanks, everybody. Cool.